Hey guys, Steve from PC Budget Solutions here, and a little different video for you guys. This is going to be hopefully a shorter than some of my longer videos. Tear down, test, and rebuild. Kind of like, you know, if you ever need to refresh your computer for rebuilding a computer, some tips and tricks and stuff like that. So, what I have on a chopping block right here is my fiance's old rig. This is actually going to a friend of mine. So I went ahead and purchased, I got some stuff back here, a new case and everything to put this in so I can ship it, and I'm going to redo everything, redo Windows, tear it down, retest and rebuild it for you guys. So hopefully this will be shorter than an hour, and let's get started. So a couple key things is important to note, and that is to do as I say, not exactly how I do. So I'm obviously lower down, do a lot of my work on the floor and carpet. Make sure you have an anti-static wrist strap if you're going to do any PC building or test. So step one here, and I'm just going to do a quick overview exactly what we're doing here, is going to be take this guy apart completely, including take out the CPU, the RAM, and everything. Step two is going to be assembly on a motherboard box. Turn it on, make sure everything's working fine. Step three will be assembly of everything. I'll do a step-by-step there. Step 4, I believe Windows is just refreshed on it, so I'm probably going to skip that, and you guys can see that in my earlier videos. So step 4 is probably going to be, let's do some overclocking. Let's see how we overclock Devil's Canyon if you guys haven't done it before. So let's start getting the teardown going, shall we? Okay, it is teardown time here. So for this particular case, thumb screw there, thumb screw here. Ugh. So, in this situation, I'm just going to start unplugging everything. Get the 8-pin up here. It's the only problem about having fat fingers. I'll get that one in a minute. Luckily with this case, as you guys can see, let me get the right size screwdriver here. You can actually get to the video card right on the outside, which is really cool. So that one started. So just, I usually finish off with just unscrewing it with my fingers. That way I don't, well, I'll probably still drop it, but that way you don't end up dropping the screws. This is the NZXT S340. My friend, I need a box to ship it in, so that's the first reason why I got something different. Second reason is there's actually a minor scratch on the side panel. I don't really want to send that to her, so to give you a basis of the purpose of what I'm doing is I built her and her husband computers about 4 years ago, and we're actually reusing most of the hardware. In his case, instead of upgrading, because he's on 4th gen, I'm just giving him something that already has 4th gen parts in it, and he's getting the RX 480 as well. So then I'm taking his old computer. I'm actually undoing the back screws real quick, so I've got to take the back side panel off. I'll just lay that right here for now, just so we can get the 8-pin out of there. And then from this point, well, unplug any fans, SATA connectors, USB 3. Jesus, there we go. And I believe that should be it, because I'm actually going to pull this out together. So let me slide this on the ground, and again, if you're doing what I'm doing, don't, but if you have to, make sure you either get an anti-static wrist strap, or make sure you're constantly, and I mean constantly, grounding yourself on the case, because that's kind of what I do. So make sure you guys have a decent angle there. So this has, and I'll actually stand this back up so you guys can see. Actually, I'll leave it laid down because you can see better. We have a screw down here. We have one here. We have one up towards the top here. And we have one behind the heatsink, which you guys can't see, but it's actually up behind the heatsink here. One at the top. One here, one here. And there's actually a centerpiece. So this actually is total 8 screws. I'm going to be reusing this case. Let me actually angle this up just a little bit. That way I can prop this up and you guys can see it better. So as I take out the first set of screws here, I'm going to grab my bigger screwdriver because these are bigger screws. And that's why you have to be careful, because I could have just bricked the board not being careful. I'll just let all these fall on the ground here. So the teardown usually doesn't take too long. I've not worked with the Master Case Pro 5. I believe that's what case I bought. You guys have seen my previous video. I have the Master Case Pro 3 as in my personal rig, so that's pretty cool. So let me angle this up so you guys can keep following what I'm doing here. So I'm going to take this screw out for you. Man, it's been a while since I've had this computer apart. So spec-wise, we're rocking a Devil's Canyon unlocked i5. We're running 16 gigabytes of DDR3 memory, 1600. An RX 480, that's brand new. A 250 gig SATA-based SSD. And I believe we have a 1 terabyte storage drive. Okay, well, there's one left, so I'm going to grab the heatsink so the board doesn't flop around here. And then we should be good to pull this board out. Now I didn't repaste anything yet, so okay, so we're good here. The only thing with this is, so in this case there's a bracket right here. You just have to be careful of pulling this out. You don't want to hit up against anything. So I'm going to slide this out of the way for a second, because I'm going to show you guys what you should do with all new builds whenever you're first working with them. So I'm going to deconstruct this so I can repaste this, and let me angle this down for you here. So I usually grab a straight head in this case. I just pop these. Just try not to damage the fins as much as you can. That takes that one off. You really have to pop one side and it'll all come off. Okay. So, general deconstruction is almost done. So well, there's still a little bit more to do. The rest of it, I mean, I like to take out like the I'm not going to reuse the power supply for them. I'm actually using a different one. So I guess you could say phase 1 is almost done. I'm going to unscrew this in a clockwise fashion here. I don't want to mess up the even pressure. I actually want to unplug these two here. This board actually, this is an MSI Z970 or 997 Gaming 5 board, so it's actually really high-end board. She wanted to go with the black and red theme last time and this time, so that's why we did it. Now, I don't think I'll deconstruct it completely. I'll show you some of the basics with Kohler installation for this, and then we'll kind of just leave it from there. Oop. So, missed one. Stay. So, for installation of the Kohler, basically put this back plate on, you put these screws through, and then you tighten these nuts up and they give you something to tie it down with. And then RAM installation, I'll pop these out and show you real quick. Well, actually de-installation, so we're starting to get to the installation portion. So that wraps up the de-installation portion, and let's start with the installation portion next. Okay, so even though this is technically part of the de-installation process, I'm going to take some isopropyl alcohol. I don't have 100%. Ideally, you should have 100%, 91%, something like that. So I'm going to again get this cleaned off here. I'm going to do the same thing for the Kohler that I just knocked over. This is why I don't have nice things. So, in the last shot I showed you guys basically step 1 for the Coolermaster installation. And no, this is not sponsored by Coolermaster or anybody else. I just happen to like the Hyper 212 Evo and the Master Case series. So got both those cleaned off. So I showed you guys how to install these kind of briefly. I just really don't want to take them apart. Now if I have some thermal paste in here, which I believe I should have a little bit left, I hope. I like to use the kind of like grain of rice method kind of thing. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and put the little spider looking thing, whatever you want to call it, just lay it on there, just like so. And ideally here what you want to do is you want to do this in a cross pattern. So just get it started. And let me turn this here, and I'll get this one started here. Because what will happen is you actually have to use some force to get it started. If you don't, then the side piece, such as like right here, will be hanging up. So just enough to get it kind of started there, and then the last one will be over here. This is the one where I'll actually tie down all the way. Basically, it'll actually go in. It'll actually pretty much stop at that point. Don't over tighten it, but tighten it until it stops. So I'm actually going to switch screwdrivers to a stronger one here. Fits a little better. Okay, so that one's good. Then we're good on here. Do this one. I'll turn it so you guys can see what I'm doing here. There should be one more, I believe. Now this will have a little bit of move in it. That's fine. That's just how it's going to be. Nope, that one's good. There we go. This is the top one here. So you guys see what I'm doing? Yeah, the thing will have a little bit of move. That's fine. That's kind of intended. It'll move like this a little bit. That's okay. So let me zoom out just a little bit so you guys can see this next step, and I'll angle it up just a smidgen. Okay, so I already have both fans already set up from before. So what I want to do is I want the air to pretty much start here and go that way. I want it to go out the back. So this one has the clips on the front rather than the rear. So this one's going to go on the back. First things first is I'm going to want to route the cable. So I'll kind of just route it around the cooler. No big deal there as long as it's not in the way. And just make sure the clips go all the way over. So make sure these are over. Make sure these are over. And then I shouldn't have to loop that. So that's in. And I'll do the front one here, so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Angle that down just a little bit. So I already plugged in this one. I'm plugging this one over here. Let me see if it will let me. I do not believe I have enough slack, so I'm going to have to be a little bit more creative here. So I'm not going to put this one on yet, and I'll just tell you guys why in a minute. I want to get RAM installed first. So you guys have seen some other videos, very simple. I have a notch right here, line it up on the board. Whenever it's on a motherboard tray, I like to actually lift it up because I don't want the board to flex whenever I'm installing RAM. Because you can crack a board if you're not careful. So okay, and then this is why I want to do this one last, is because I want to make sure I get good RAM clearance. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of let it rest on the RAM as I install this. That way I know everything's good. Let's see if I can get this down here. Might not be able to. I want to do it without bending something, that would be ideal. There we go, got it. So that way the wires are hidden really well. So now, this is the most important part. I'm going to hook this up to kind of like a test bench, and I'm going to make sure this works. I'm going to slap a video card in it and a power supply. I'm going to keep this on the motherboard tray, but I want to make sure that this thing posts before I continue. So that's what's up next. And all we need is motherboard power, which is quite easy. We need CPU power, which is going to be delivered by the 4+4. And then lastly, we need PCI Express, which in this case is a single 6-pin. Now, I'm going to have to I need to grab my Phillips head here. I'm going to show you guys a really cool trick. So, let me see if I can move the camera on to show you guys this. So, let me angle this down. And then, let me zoom in, angle it down a little bit more. So, there is the front panel connector, which in this case is right over here. So, all I need to do is flip the switch here. So, let me point you guys in the direction I'm going to be at. So, our front panel is right here. Let me see if you guys can see it. Cool, you guys can. Move this wire out of the way. And then the power switch is actually right up here. So, all you have to do is short those two things out together with like a screwdriver, and you can get it started, which is really cool. They also have things for the power supply that you can do that too as well. So a few things I did off camera. I got the drives out, so that's the SSD I'm using. I pretty much got the whole other computer kind of done, and I got this open. I was going to do an unboxing, but as I started to do it, I realized it felt kind of rushed. I didn't want to deliver that to you guys, so I figured maybe I'll just kind of give my review as I do this. So let's throw away this. We don't want to eat that. So first and foremost, as I threw, here they are. It looks like they only pre-installed some of the standoffs. So we were putting a regular ATX motherboard here, so we'll need to follow the guides for ATX. And looks to be pretty standard, yeah, standard spacing, so we should be good there. Coolermaster, though, I really wish you would have done a resealable bag for this. That would have been nice. Oh, I found an SSD drive mount. Interesting, didn't realize that's what that was. That would be cool. So I'm going to pour these out on a white sheet of paper so I can see them. And of course they go all over the place, but whichever. Now one thing Coolermaster does do is they include this tool. I'm going to show you what this does. That actually, you can put the standoff in here and screw it in. So I just want to get them placed for now. Then we'll go from there. So looking at the motherboard, I'm kind of seeing the spacing that we need here. Like I said, it's a standard ATX board. So the middle one's placed, the top one, so they're like two placed right now. Now, what you can't see, and I'll see if I can show this to you guys here, there's actually, right here, oh, let me sit down on the other side, right here there's actually tells you anything that says A is going to be ATX, anything that's M is MATX, etc. That's definitely useful, especially if you haven't built a computer in a while, so that'll give you an idea of where everything goes. And some of these things are labeled with multiple, so like this top one's M and A&M, so that's for ATX and micro ATX. But some will have M, I, and A, and that'll be for that, for ITX as well. So in this case, we're going to need 9 total standoffs, which I believe they include 10, it looks like. 2 pre-installed and then 8 in the bag. Okay, so now that that is done, one thing I did not do was grab the I/O shield, so let me go ahead and grab that real quick. Now that I have the I/O shield out, I do apologize. Let's go ahead and snap that bad boy in. You guys have seen me doing enough of these, so this one's pretty straightforward. Probably one of the most annoying things to do. And I'm going to go ahead and stand this case up. I just want to pull these out of here. That way they're not in the way. And then I'm actually have to remove the video card here. Okay, let's get this bad boy installed, shall we? One of the nice things about having a heatsink is you can hold it by the heatsink. So we're just going to ease it in there. Make sure everything lines up. And then, I'm crashing a fan. So unfortunately, this does not have what like Corsair uses. So, and that is kind of like one of those little middle pieces to kind of hold it in place. So what we have to do here, and this you just have to be careful with doing, because if you're out of alignment you have to undo it all, is I'm going to put a couple of these in kind of most of the way. That way it pushes itself against the I/O shield. So I'll probably do that kind of down the middle for these two. They all look pretty much this one does not feel like running all the way. Interesting. So now I have to question if these are the right screws. And this is a step that I often miss, which is checking the standoffs to see what screws are good. So pop this one out. I'm going to say I'm probably wrong. We have a bunch of the bigger ones, so I'm going to probably say those are probably it. So, almost lost that one. So I'm going to try using these bigger hex screws. They're still Phillips head. But, okay, so this motherboard's now off angle. Okay, those seem to go in. Cool. And I just realized something. This is actually kind of funny. This board, while 2 years old, has an M.2 slot. I didn't think M.2 was a thing back then. And I presume it would support NVMe over PCI Express, so. Now what's funny is going back to how my PC building has changed over time. This thing has a ton of fan headers, but I use Molex adapters on the last rig. And actually that might be because that's what came with that. Okay, that one's in. Let's get this corner one here. This is definitely a very good board for its day. Let's go ahead and turn this so you guys can continue to see what I'm doing. And it looks like I only have 3 more to do. The 3 hardest nonetheless too. And my hand's too fat, so I'll have to Drop it down there and move it over into the slot. Something I really don't recommend doing, because if you don't have great precision, ooh, that can end up very, very, very poorly. There we go. When that happens, it's happened like 3 times during this build, I swear. Let's go ahead and get this last one in, and we are good to go. Okay, motherboard installation done. Let's go ahead and get the power supply installed and start hooking up some of the basics here. So this power supply looks kind of similar to the last one we worked with here. So my thoughts about the case so far, there's no top cooling, which is really weird. You would think there would be. Oh, that's actually not how that works. I guess the shroud removes. Ah, okay. So the shroud removes, and then the power supply goes in like such. Okay, so not like the last one. That's okay. I would preferred it like that, but I'll take it. So I'm missing a screw, or as my fiance would like to say, I have a screw loose. But I'm just missing one. I'll go grab another one in a second. So for this build, I'm using my Seasonic S12-2. This one's not modular. It's not like mine. We didn't really need to do modular for this computer because this has a lot more room in it. That's where my screw bin is. Okay, I'll get the last screw in here in a second, and we'll start with video card installation. Okay, I lied about video card installation. Let's not do that next. Let's get these cables through this side for now. Let's get this shroud back on to hide said cables. And then get this piece screwed back in here. Hold that shroud in place here. Let's start wiring some stuff up as I promised earlier, because that would make the most sense. I think a video card should probably be last. Let's go ahead and open this up a little bit here. Let's go over the top with this here. Wire this guy up here. And got that plugged in. Let's go 4+4 next. That's going to be your CPU connector. Oh, nice. There's room up here. So this is going to be fun. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make life easier. This fan's coming off for a minute. There we go. Problem solved. Well, still difficult to get the line up and go in, but problem solved pretty much. Oh, come on. Okay. You're going in one at a time. I just feel like that's harder. only problem with doing with the fan off is the heat sink's exposed. Got it. And the problem with the heatsink being exposed is it can cut you very easily. In fact, chances are I'm probably cut somewhere and don't even realize it. Yep. Called it. Not sure if you guys can see I sliced my knuckle there. So, it is what it is. Do it for you guys. Make sure it's in. Okay. That's done. What is this sitting on? Oh. That's just its feet. Okay. That one's done. Let's go ahead and slot in this video card. Cool. These are screws that come out. Actually, before I do that, do I have a fan header down here? I have a fan header right here, okay. So, got that fan plugged in. Now, when I ship her the computer back, the video card will be going separate, and I'll probably show her this video. Of course, she's installed this stuff before, like the last time I sent her one. Oop. 2 hands. Wow. That's getting caught behind it. There we go. Got it. Hopefully my big head wasn't in the way the whole time there. Got that one in. Here. Now the cool part is, just like a lot of the other cases I've worked with recently, this actually has a nice hole down here, and that is for this to come up through. So pretty much all the important stuff's done. Let's get some other things going, such as like the solid state drive installation and basic wiring next. So I just noticed something here as I started building this. That is, there's a screw up here for a panel that I believe houses solid state drives. And it does. Let's see how this works here. Good. And I'll just take 2 screws. That's all we need for solid state drives is 2 screws. I like going towards the bottom here. So I'll go ahead and get that started. Get this one down all the way here. Finish up this one. And then I'm pretty sure I did this backwards. Yeah, I did this backwards. Yeah, so you live and you learn. The reason why I know I did it backwards, I wanted to put it back on, it was going to be facing the front of the case. There's no cables going towards the front of the case, so let's put it the right way, shall we? So again, I'll do it on camera. For solid state drives, the reason why I only ever use 2 screws, they don't vibrate. I don't really have to worry about them coming out. And these have 2 locking mechanisms, so not really worried about that. And then, is there a track? Yes, there is. Make sure this thumb screw is extra tight during shipping. Awesome. Now, I'm not trying to be in the way here. I got a mechanical drive to put in. that'll be easy. So, turns out these little hex head looking things are the ones I need. So I already have the one in. I'll screw the other in. My only concern is this drive cage may not get there in one piece, but I'll show you what I'm doing here. Down, down, down. There we go. So it slides in here as such and locks like that. I wonder if there's a... Nah, I'll leave it as so. So let me open up this motherboard box. Oh, we do have some SATA cables. So let's turn this bad boy around, shall we? This will be quite easy. This one will go upside down and go in like this. Let me tilt this up so I show you guys what I'm doing here. So this is just going to go in like that. That's simple. And then I'll run... Oh god, there's a tangled mess here. Oh god, I'm going to have to fix that. Okay, so that one's good. And then for the actual hard drive. Now before this becomes a problem, so first things first, it's got the hard drive plugged in. My 6-pin here. I undid it because it's being tangled in some of these, which is definitely annoying. So I'm going to leave that one for later. I'll get this plugged in and just shove the rest at the bottom. Can't say I'm a professional cable manager, I've just claimed to get better over time. Okay. So that one's that. Okay, so we have this big block of just... I don't want to clean this up here. I guess I can start getting the front panel stuff done for now. Model X, you can go hide where you were at before because nobody likes you. So that's there. You can go back where you're supposed to be now. I fixed it. So that cleans up a fair bit. Our USB 3 actually is right here, so that's convenient. So you're good there. SATA, I should have 2 here. I do. These SATA guys going here. These will pop out top and bottom respectively. So here's the only thing I don't like about this case. We have to tie everything this way, it seems, because, well, don't really have a choice, I'm just going to have to. So let's get some last minute touches going and then we should be good to go. Okay, so I have most of the things wired to the back at this point. HD audio is going to go down the corner. That's its usual spot, so no big deal there. Just make sure the pins are lined up correctly. In this case, the breakout pin is actually up top. So you're good there. We'll do the front panel here now. So what's nice is front panel has been pretty much the same on almost every case that I've used. Bottom left is hard drive. Bottom right is reset. Top left is power LED. Top right is power switch. So let me find a fan header. Oh, sweet, right here. At this point, everything is wired. I just got to work on this back here, so I'm probably not going to do the best job, but I just need to do enough to keep everything looking okay. So, of course, yeah, darn it, I got to redo this. Just because I don't want fan header being stretched if we can avoid it. Okay. Now, I did tell you guys I'm not a professional cable manager, I hope. I'll cut those off later. These over here. Show you guys where I'm pulling these cables out of the way here. Now, luckily these can hide down there. Let's go ahead and pull those over there. That way it's at least respectable. So not horrible, not my best job any stretch, but I'll clip off the ends later. But I guess it'll kinda, let's turn on to the front and see what she looks like here. It's not bad. It's probably about as best as I'm gonna get it. That'll work for my friend. She's not overly worried about something like that, but I want to make sure it looked good. I'm just looking if I need to manage anything else here. There's one. I'm just going to tie a couple wires together here. That way they don't go everywhere. Okay. Let's get the side panels back on here. I presume that just dropped in like the other one. Ah, there we go. So now that we're up at Windows, let's start messing with some overclocking. Now, what's nice about MSI is they have OCG. Now, oh god, really, I really don't want to mess with Windows updates right now. So now that Windows updates are done, I actually shot the case review. I didn't think I was going to do it. But now that the updates are done, let's take a look at what OCG wants to do. If you guys remember that from MSI in the 4th gen. And then we'll take a look to see what kind of overclock we can get dialed in. So first things first is we're going to reboot it. And then mash the delete button to get in. For those of you that don't know. Now we're in. So let's go to OC settings. Advanced. Let's change this to bias. And then, I'm trying to remember how to do it from here. Settings. You know what? Oh, the OC Genie. So let's take a look at what this did. So a lot of this I kind of remember. So first thing it did is up the core frequency to 4 gigahertz fixed. It upped the ring frequency to 3900 megahertz fixed as well. It did XMP on the RAM, which is good. I'm not going to mess with any of that. VCCIN, it left it at default. Usually I put this 1.9. I'm okay with that. Core voltage, it's still set to auto. I'm going to see what it's actually running. So just some base overclock. Usually I put this like 1.9 or 1.8. I'll do the core voltage of like 1.3. It's still set in auto. I'm not sure if I like that or not. We'll mess with it. Let's see. Let's just get out of here. Let's see. Nope, let's not go without saving. Let's go ahead and get out of here and see what this thing does. Save and reboot. So this will reboot itself. We'll take a look to see what kind of temps and stuff like that we start running here. So yes, it's going to tell me OCG is enabled. Obviously, they don't recommend it, but they have it on there. So let's go ahead and get her booted up here, and let's see what it's throwing at us. So temperatures are definitely very, very, very important. I trust the voltage and everything for the most part, but I'm going to want to be careful with that too. So let's download. Apparently I don't have HW monitor on here. We're going to want that. Yeah, we'll get a newer version. Okay, so it's running 4 gigahertz, which is fine. Core voltage 1.19. So this is the really important part with this. And I'm going to get this stuff down, and we're going to check back here in a little bit. I'm going to cut out here, and I'm going to do some testing. And I want to see what this voltage actually does and see if it's safe. And then maybe I'll adjust it up a little bit more. So I'm running, ignore that, that's a rogue temperature. Nothing's running 127 degrees Celsius, or else we'd have some smoke right now. So it's actually running 1.2 volts. That's what it said in the BIOS. And I'm thinking back to when I had two Devil's Canyon chips. I had the 4690k and the 4790k. And I was running 1.225 or 1.25 volts at 4.5. So that sounds about right. And now here's the cool thing. So the ambient temperature right now is about 30 degrees Celsius. I have 3 computers running, so it's definitely probably around 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's like upper 20s or right around 30 degrees. So it's pretty warm in here. So to get temperatures like that on a Hyper 212 is really, really, really good. I'm not really going to stress test this very long. Let's go ahead and stop this and reboot because I want to hit 4.2. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's hit stop. Now, I only ran that for a couple minutes, but I just wanted to get the testing. So I'm going to move it up to 1.225. So I'm actually going to undo the OC Genie, I think, and I'm going to go ahead and do it myself here. So let's hope I don't have episode 2 of I broke it, but can I fix it? Episode 1 caused me a lot of grief as it is. So let's jump into the BIOS here. Okay. Let's actually, you know what? I am going to have to undo OC Genie here. So let's just do XMP. So CPU core ratio 42. Let's go with fixed. So that's good. Let's go with 40. So the ring voltage is pretty important here if I remember correctly. So let's look at, so 1.9 is fine. Let's go with adaptive. I think I want to do that. So So let's go with 1.2 and then let's just do override. 1.225 ring voltage. I want to go with 1.15, I believe is what I want to do. And then I'll leave these alone. I didn't mess with these back then, so I think we should go with manual there. And memory is running, I guess, 1600, so this is DDR3, yeah, so we should be good. 999924. So we should be good. Now, I'm not going to ship this computer like this. Here's the reason why. When I build, I don't like overclocking and shipping. Occasionally, things slip through the cracks. Like my CPU overclock was fine, and then I found out that as soon as I lose power, it undid itself, and I didn't find it out for 2 weeks. I had to back down, either up the voltage or back down the speed 100 megahertz, and it's been stable since. So that's kind of where I get a little worried about that. So we are running 4200 megahertz, so that's good. And we should be 1.225 volts. That's honestly probably more than we need, but I'm not really super worried about temperature, so this is what I'm going to do. I think it's time for dinner, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this segment of the video, and we're going to come back and see if this thing is still on and what the temperatures are like. Okay, so this has been running for a little more than a half hour. We don't need to run any longer for, all intents and purposes, but a couple things to note here. So, maximum 75 degrees, perfect. We don't want to go above like 90. The ambient temperature is a little bit high in here, so this would be like in the upper 60s, so that's perfect. It actually boosted to like 4.252. Maximum power output was 65 watts, fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. I'm probably going to dial it back before I ship it, but that's kind of a quick and easy overclock, especially on Devil's Canyon. So hopefully you guys appreciate it, and now it's time to wrap everything up. Thank you guys for tuning in to this teardown, testing, rebuild, and kind of a quick overclock. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to be doing a Ryzen overclock here in the near future, because that's a lot harder than what I was doing here. So the only thing I recommend is when you're overclocking, you should do a several-hour test on it. Make sure temperatures are good, voltages don't spike, everything is good like that. But anything in this computer, if you guys are interested in anything in here, whether it's the RX 480, the power supply, whatever, I got links in the description below for everything used. Definitely like the video if you liked it. If you didn't, it's cool. That'll give me some idea on what you guys are looking for. But this is Steve from PC Budget Solutions. I'll see you guys later on down the road.